What is a zoom lens? Explained in plain English in less than 10 minutes. Hi and welcome to episode 59 of the Photography Explained podcast. I'm your host Rick, and in each episode I will explain one photographic thing in plain English in less than 10 minutes without the relevant details. What I tell you is based on my lifetime of photographic experience, not Google. Well, there might be the odd thing I had to look up, but mainly this is stuff that I know. And this being about zoom lenses, it is stuff that I know, so there's no research required, which is always good and makes me feel a little bit better about myself. Right then, so what is a zoom lens? Here's the answery bit. A zoom lens is a camera lens that has a variable focal length. Zoom lenses offer photographers greater flexibility over fixed or primed lenses. Zoom lenses enable photographers to carry less camera lenses due to the variable focal lengths and change lenses less often. Zoom lenses can provide excellent quality images. Now I have to say here that zoom lenses can provide rubbish images, but so can prime lenses, and that is normally down to the photographer and not the lens. Interesting digression. What other types of lenses are there? Well, the other type I covered in episode 58 are prime lenses. I don't like the term prime lenses, I call them fixed lenses. Check last episode for more. Why are they called zoom lenses? Well, prime wasn't clear. Not that it matters, to be honest with you. But zoom makes sense. This makes a change in photography, I know. You zoom in, you zoom out, sorted, we get it. Do zoom lenses take better photos than prime lenses? It depends on the quality of the lenses that you're comparing. If you got, a $5,000 fixed Leica lens and compared it to a £100 kit lens, which was a zoom, then you would get a better photo with the fixed lens. If you compared a $5,000 zoom lens with a £100 fixed lens, you'll probably get a better photo from the zoom lens. If you compared similar quality lenses, you'll probably get better image quality with the prime lens than you will with the zoom lens, as a generality when you're making a sensible comparison. That doesn't mean zoom lenses are better than prime lenses. It means that prime lenses probably give you a higher quality photo. But the next question will answer the burning question I'm sure you all have. Can you actually tell the difference? Well, when you're making a like-for-like comparison, most people probably won't notice. Okay, probably won't notice. So most people won't know. So why should you not use a prime lens? Or, as I could also word it, why should you not use a zoom lens? Also known as, why should you use a prime lens? Well, if you were doing massive prints, it's the same thing with medium format cameras. If you're doing massive prints like billboards, posters, huge things that people can get up close and look at, then you'd want the sharpest lens you could get, and you'd want the largest sensor you could get thinking about it. If you're after the ultimate image quality, then a fixed lens is for you. If you're a normal person, like me, I like to think, then you're fine with a zoom lens. Zoom lenses these days are really good. They give you great image quality. Why should you not use a zoom lens? Well, I don't use prime lenses, to be honest with you, but I'll get on to that. How much do zoom lenses cost? Depends, doesn't it? It depends on the focal length of the lens, and this is relative to the number of lenses that you can replace. Will I come on to this shortly? I probably will, but I'm going to cover it anyway. I use a Canon 24-105mm f4L lens. Now that has taken out the need for me to have a 24, 28, 35, 50, 85 and 100mm lens. That's 6 lenses in theory that I don't need. I say in theory. I'll let you into a secret now. I actually use 24 and 105 and not often the bits in the middle. So you could say I'm a prime contender for prime lenses. Oh, the irony. I've just thought about that. Never came to me before. Should I be using prime lenses? Yes, I probably should. And I'm going to compound that theory even more. Right, let's get back on track. What are the advantages of zoom lenses? Sorry, I'll come back to that. You can have different focal lengths, as I've just described. You can get great image quality. If you buy a rubbish zoom lens, you won't get as good quality as if you buy a really good zoom lens, but that's no different to prime lenses. You can get great image quality with zoom lenses. Flexibility. You get more flexibility. Changing lenses. You don't have to do it as often, or in my case, at all. Back to the same thing there. I work on construction sites, very dusty environments. I don't really want to be changing my lenses on a site. As it happens, I don't, because I use my 17 to 40mm lens, and I don't use anything else on a shoot, so I'm all right there. Very rarely do I take my lens off my camera, to be honest with you. That's just given me another thought about my camera. I'll come back to that as well. Every time you need a different focal length, you have to change the lens. And finally, you need more gear. What are the disadvantages of zoom lenses? They sound like the be-all and end-all, don't they? Well, the bigger, the heavier. They have moving parts. There's more to go wrong. They can be expensive, and you probably get a smaller maximum aperture with a zoom lens, which reduces your options when you're taking photos handheld. Basically, if you think about a zoom lens, you've got optical stuff moving in and out and all over the place to very cleverly change the focal length but keep the focus and everything working. Incredibly complex things, and like I say, there's moving parts, there's more to go wrong. Spoiler alert there, I've never, touching wood and everything wooden, including my head, I've never had an optical problem with a zoom lens. I use Canon L series zoom lenses, or as some people like to call them, glass. I hate that term. Glass to me is a piece of glass, not a lens. Never had a problem. What are the most common focal lengths of zoom lenses? Well, this is what I have. I have a 17 to 40mm, a 24 to 105mm, and a 70 to 200mm lens. I don't use prime lenses anymore. I sold them all because I didn't use them. I didn't use them because I didn't need them. Now, the maximum aperture on these three lenses is f4. I take most of my photos, 95%, on a tripod. So I'm not concerned about having a fast lens with a large maximum aperture. It doesn't affect me. And if you're a landscape photographer, you'd be in the same boat. You don't need it. I take most of my photos at f8 anyway. Yeah, I don't need prime lenses. Now, I might get slightly better image quality. Sure, I might, if I had them. And I want to get back to the point I made earlier on. I use my 17 to 40mm lens. It's a Canon 17 to 40 on my Canon 6D. For virtually all my architectural photography work. I say virtually, every now and then I'll find something that I want to get closer into to get a detail of or to isolate things, and then I use the 70 to 200. But I use the 17 to 40, and I probably take, 80 to 90% of the photos at 17mm. It's become, subconsciously, this was never a plan, it's become a bit of a thing. Taking photos at 17mm, because I noticed that, I mentioned before, I tend to use 24 or 105 on my 24 to 105. I like the ends. I tend not to use the bits in the middle. And when I go into Lightroom and have a look, yeah, I'm more one end or the other. But on my architectural photography work, 95%, I would say, I'm going to be that bold, of the photos I take are at 17mm. If Canon did a 17mm f4 lens, I might go with that. I might give it a try. What I like about the 17 to 40 is I get my composition right. And if I need to just zoom in a little bit, I can do it. I don't think I've ever taken a photo at 40mm. Can't remember doing. Obviously, there are many other focal lengths available. And there are some fantastic zoom lenses out there. And again, massive generalization. But the more money you pay, the better the quality of the lens. But having the best lens in the world doesn't guarantee great photos. You can have the best lens in the world and take rubbish photos. Let's not forget that. Right then, not too bad on time again. Quite happy with that. My one-line explanation. Zoom lenses offer photographers different focal lengths in one lens, giving photographers more options and possibilities with less gear. That was it. One more thing. Less gear is good. More gear is bad. That's my personal opinion. Next episode 60. I'm in the 60s. Fantastic. Kit lenses explained by me in plain English in less than 10 minutes. Kit lenses, it's a simple thing, but I still want to explain it. I was going to shoehorn kit lenses into zoom lenses, and I thought, no, let's just keep them separate so I can explain each one. This is where I've been going wrong in stuff before. I'm going to talk about kit lenses. And before I record the next episode, I'm going to sit down in a dark room and say kit lenses, until I don't make a mistake. Right, nearly done. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a nice review and rating wherever you get your podcast from. It's available everywhere. virtually. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and share my podcast with anyone you think might enjoy it. If you wouldn't mind, I'd be very grateful. Thank you very much for listening to my small but perfectly formed podcast. Finally, my website. Please check out rickmcavoyphotography.com to find out about me and my photography blog, my very good photography blog, even if I do say so myself. And also the Photography Explained podcast website, where you can find out all about this podcast and ask me a question of your own. This episode was brought to you by the power of caffeine and just one take, which I'm delighted with. I've been Rick McAvoy. Thanks again very much for listening and for giving me 12 3/4 minutes of your valuable time. And I will see you on the next episode. Cheers from me, Rick.